Rick Shaw here on the 28th of September 2022. Month's about had it. We've got kind of a balmy day. Winds cut down a little bit from what it was earlier, but hot when the sun was overhead. It was scorching. Had to pick up my little one on the trike, pick him up from school, but my youngest only has half a day, so ran up there and got him. So we were chit-chatting on the live and a little about electric, and something I want to tell you when you're doing a home here. And I specifically told them how I wanted it done, and the message never got to this guy who wired the house. But what they do here, they'll run your power, and these ceilings are all high. They like their 9-foot ceilings here. They run the power up to the fixture, and then they send 2 wires, switch loop, down to the switch. And I know this because every single one of our switches that we've had in here is burned out. Receptacles burn out. I mean, we've been here only a little over a year, and what's happening is, all this stuff is failing. It's they don't sell anything quality here. I mean, I did residential, and I did my own house, and the switches in there years and years and years, and we don't have any problem with the switches. Here, everything goes. Receptacles, and you got to be careful of fire. I don't like to use any of them behind the couch or anything like that, because they just spontaneous combust. I'm not kidding you. But when you're doing your electric here, make sure make sure your home run, your power is in a switch, and that way if you got a problem, you don't got to climb up on a ladder in the ceiling to figure it out. It's just, to me, it's just ridiculous. Do it while you're standing right there in front of a switch, and then send your switch loops up. And I would send a pair of them. I would send so you cut off all the power. Get a double throw switch, because what they do here is, to me, I can't understand it. Somebody did send me some double throw switches, but they're like machinery types, and I've seen them before. It's like an on-off switch for a machine, and I'm not into that industrial look when you're out of the house. A nice paddle switch would be nice. I'll get somebody to send me some. Anybody coming over here, guys, you go down to Home Depot, bring them. Bring the dang things, and it would be nice, some of these electricians, to train them how they should do that. I'm not kidding you, they just don't know. I even asked the one electrician here, okay, you're wiring this thing in here, I'm watching you, why are you running that? Oh, that's the way I was told. I said, well, does that seem odd to you? Why don't you have the hot down here and then go upstairs too? Oh, no, sir, that's not the way we do it. And I'm trying to ask the guy, why? No, he couldn't get past his training. He was set in stone with it. And I just sit back, and you're better off to get somebody who will talk with you. It's like when I was doing the tricycle. It was really easy to talk with the guy what I wanted, and I pretty much got exactly what I wanted because the guy listened. But here, I don't know. I know the electrician that we had on our house, they got rid of him. And simple things we couldn't get. Like I didn't tell him to delete a plug. I said, put me one up here for the TVs. So what did they do? They got rid of the plug down on the bottom. I said, well, where's my plug down there? Oh, you told me. I didn't say move it. I said, I want you to add. I paid. It's right here on the bill. I paid for it. No, it's even with my wife telling them, even with her telling them, it didn't come out right. And now I got them halfway up the wall. None of them down by the floor where I wanted it. And the way they do it, they just take a hammer and they just dig a hole. Basically, they dig a trench, and then they just skim coat over it when they're done. And to me, if you're hanging pictures and you got an older place, get one of those little sensors. Get one of those little sensors where you can find wire in the wall, because you'll run a screw right through it. And then you're having to dig a bigger hole out so you can pull the wire and splice it. And most of the wires here in these places, they're in orange Smurf tube. I guess we'll call it pumpkin tube here. You're not getting the wire to budge. I tried to get the wire from the entrance to the very first box to do that. Nope, it wouldn't work. So I got no way to, re-pull that. And the only way I can do it now is to surface mount it, or dig a trench and put it underneath, just like they do here. And that's, to me, I'm not into doing that, But here I'm getting to the point where, for now, I don't know if we're going to do a lot more to this place. Get the bars on the window, and totally disillusioned with this area. Like I say, the folks are nice. We really don't run into problems with any of the people around here. But traffic is ridiculous. I was telling my one buddy, sometimes if there's no traffic cops, we could be in town in 10 minutes. The days I had traffic cops, because they have one day off a week where there's just none of them. They don't alternate, it's just all of them are off. And those days we can get in town in 10 minutes or so. And the days they're there, I'm not kidding you, it's average 45 minutes is what we've been finding to go from our gate to town, and sometimes longer. So, that's kind of tough. That's why we go to Padre Garcia mostly. But you run into traffic getting out of the gate. Now the other day, it wasn't too bad. We only had to wait a couple minutes to get out, but we've had days where we're just sitting there, and actually the security guard will run out from his booth if there's two of them there, and he'll stop traffic so we can get out. That's how silly it gets here. They will not give you a break. When the traffic is dead stopped in front of you, instead of leaving a gap so I could get through there, no, they'll pull right up on the guy in front of his bumper and block you. It's just how they drive here, guys. It's bred into them. They all do it. It's so rare. It's so rare that somebody. Okay, so yeah, that's how they go. And the other thing too, something that I don't recommend doing when you're driving, letting anyone in. Don't let them in, because as soon as you let one of them in, a couple things can happen. You got 50 of them that are just going to keep coming, and you're going to be stuck there forever. Or if there's only one car and you decide to let them in, hey, get over here. If you let him in, then all of a sudden he's going to turn into Mr. Benevolent, and he's going to hit his brake. He's going to drive as slow as he can, and he's going to let everybody and his brother in, and you're stuck behind him. Guys, I'm telling you, this is 10 years here. This is what they're going to do in these areas. I've seen other areas where the traffic was a heck of a lot better than here. You got to just, even in Carmona, traffic will get funny. Certain times of the day, or trucks. And heck, if there's an accident, something too, don't be surprised when you're here. If you're driving along, I know in the U.S. if somebody gets in a fatal accident, they cover it over and they direct people around it pretty quickly. Here, they'll just stop the traffic and they'll leave the dead guy laying in the sun to bloat until the certain entity that needs to look at him gets there. That's just how they do it here. And life is cheap, so be careful driving, be careful doing anything. If you're electric, be careful working on any electric here. There is no neutral and there's no ground. You basically got two hots here, and that's the way everything is run. Even though when I was in like at Meralco, they said they have a big thing when you go down there. They show you exactly how it's supposed to be wired, but nobody does it that way. Hey, what for? That costs money. So they don't do it that way, and they just run you your two hots, and there's basically no inspection. They don't do any kind of inspection on anything that I've seen. They self-inspect, and you get some crazy stuff. I went out to look at a job with a fellow I golf with who's an electrical contractor, and he was crook. He was a shyster, guys. He was absolutely horrible. He was deliberately doing things wrong. And he said, well, if it lasts a year, that's all I need. Commercial stuff he was doing. But the manager of the place had a room, like a break room, where he was hanging up all the stuff he found of the just shoddy workmanship. Actually, when I was an electrician, if you'd have done that, some of the stuff they were doing, you'd have been fired. They would just said, no, you're not cut out for this, and you wouldn't have been in the union anymore. So pretty crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And you never know what's going to happen on a day like today. You know, you look at, we got some clouds over there. The other day, walked outside, it was sunshiny, going to work on the trike. I went into there to get to get some tools out to pull the seat off, and because it's only going to be a 15-minute job, and it started pouring. That's what you get, rainy season. So this is Rickshaw out.